discours indirect. So first, we'll see a few examples just to make it clear and to, well, discover what this discours indirect is. After that, we'll see how to make it, so la formation. And the last part will be, well, we'll discover together the verbs that you could use to introduce this discours indirect, okay? But then let's start with les exemples, few examples, okay? And, well, it's quite interesting because I wanted to put simple, well, sentences here. Elle pense, penser is to think. Le vendeur est compétent, okay? Le vendeur, the seller, is compétent, competent. So it's of course it's possible to use a sentence like that, you know, elle pense, and then you put deux points and ouvrez les guillemets, le vendeur est compétent. What if I would like to transform this sentence and use this elle pense que, okay? So same thing in English, it could be she thinks or she thinks that. And that's the whole concept of this discours indirect. And the sentence could be transformed like that. Elle pense que, so she thinks that. And have a look, le vendeur est compétent. So it's quite easy in that case, and of course I took on purpose a simple sentence to start, but then it's just to show you that, well, the sentence doesn't change that much. Of course you will have to take this guillemets away and then deux points, so everything should go away, but then in that case the sentence doesn't change that much. Elle pense que le vendeur est compétent. Alright? But then, of course, if you have a look at a sentence like that, il dit, dire is to say, so he says, je veux prendre un café. So, je veux, I want, it's vouloir, to want. Je veux prendre, prendre is to take, un café, a coffee. I want to take a coffee. So if you want to transform this sentence, it will be a bit different, because in the first sentence it was quite simple, because you had this il and elle, but in that case, well, of course, you've got the je veux, and you need to transform this thing, so you need to adapt it, because here we've got the subject, so subject is masculine, and then it's at the third person, so il dit. So you will put this que, as we had previously, and you will need to change je, you will need to change it into il, okay, because that's the subject, il. The verb should be at the third person, so have a look here. First person it's with x at the end, third person is with t at the end. Prendre un café, well, it doesn't change. So normally it's the subject and the verb that will be affected if they are, okay? So in that case, il dit qu'il veut prendre un café. And of course, as usual in French, this que, if there is a vowel after, so remember this will have to go away. So you will get this qu'il. Il dit qu'il veut prendre un café. Okay, so this is this discours indirect, so the indirect form of il dit je veux prendre un café. It will be transformed like il dit qu'il veut prendre un café. Okay, so a third example, elle promet je viendrai ce soir. Okay, promettre is to promise, and then je viendrai, so I will come ce soir. Okay, and here elle promet, okay, que, so we should first have this que. Of course, as we had in the previous example, you must modify this je, okay? So we've got here the subject and it's feminine, so it should be the third person of the feminine, qu'elle, okay? Here we've got the future form, je viendrai, so you should put the verb at the future form as well, but then for elle, it will be elle viendra, and then ce soir doesn't change. Okay? Elle promet qu'elle viendra ce soir. So, if we want to discover, or not really discover because we saw that, la formation, so keep in mind that you will put first, well, the first sentence or the first part of the sentence, then que, okay, could be translated with that in English, and the rest of the sentence or the second sentence, okay, that you should, in some cases, modify. Okay, we're talking about the subject and the verb. Keep in mind that que, if it is combined, as we saw, with a vowel, will become que, like that, okay, so needs to go away. So, the classical example that we had was que and il, and it's becoming qu'il. It could be que and elle, and it will become qu'elle, okay? Or if we're talking about first names, you know, first names that will start with a vowel, it will be exactly the same thing, okay? And so now let's see the verbs that you could have, or that you could use to introduce this discours indirect, okay? And the list will start now. Affirmer, ajouter, annoncer, déclarer, dire. Okay, so affirmer, ajouter, annoncer, déclarer, dire. Expliquer, promettre, répondre, admettre, assurer. All right, so expliquer, promettre, répondre, admettre, assurer, avouer, confirmer, constater, crier, démentir. So avouer, confirmer, constater, crier, démentir, s'écrier, s'exclamer, jurer, objecter, préciser, s'écrier, s'exclamer, jurer, objecter, préciser, prétendre, proposer, reconnaître, remarquer, répliquer, prétendre, proposer, reconnaître, remarquer, répliquer. And the list could continue, but then still I wanted to introduce the, well, main verbs that will, well, require, or that you could use to construct a discours indirect. Keep in mind that you will have to put this que after these verbs.